Did you ever watch a movie that just stays with you? Not even for a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of weeks, for a long time. I mean, we're talking years. A movie that it seeps into your soul, lads. Alters your perception of life, death, and human nature itself. If you haven't experienced that, well, let me introduce you to The Green Mile. Oh dear Lord, this isn't just a movie, it's a spiritual experience, lads, a once in a lifetime film that it grips you from the first scene and it refuses to let go. I'm talking about a movie that makes you question a lot about justice, kindness, and about what it kind of truly means to be human. I know that might sound corny, and yet so many people have not seen this movie. Now, I get it, we're in 2025, but it's not that long ago. Maybe because it's over 3 hours long. Okay. But maybe because it deals with heavy topics. I can get that too. But I promise you this. If you skip this movie, you are missing one of the most powerful stories ever put on film. And I'm about to tell you why. Peter. Now, at its core, The Green Mile, it's basically about death. The inevitability of it all, okay? I can't even speak again. You see the way I get that in the podcast a lot? Anyway, the fear of it and whether or not justice truly exists in the world, set in the 1930s, right? I mean, really back-end 1930s, lads. Deep in the American South, baby. The film takes place in a prison, which I'm sure a lot of you know anyway, even if you haven't seen it, and is specifically on death row. Now, it's the place where men take their last steps, their last gasping breaths, a place where guards and prisoners alike come face to face with mortality every single day. And now imagine working there, imagine walking a man down the long green mile, as they call it in this movie, the cold floor beneath his feet, knowing you're leading the guy to his death. Imagine having to strap him in, flip this switch, and watch as the electricity courses through his body, stealing his life away. That's the world of Paul Edgecombe, Tom Hanks in this movie. Played by, obviously, the two-time Oscar winner himself. Paul is a prison guard, a good man in a cruel place, a man who follows the rules, but it isn't blind to the horrors around him. He's seen criminals come and go, and he's learned to live with the weight of the job. But then John Coffey arrives. Oh God, and everything changes. Now, John Coffey, giant of a man, that apparently in the novel and in the movie, he's meant to be over 7 foot tall in this movie. And, he does look it, to be honest. Quite an intimidating figure, as you'd imagine, right? He's accused of crimes so horrific, so gut-wrenching, that most men wouldn't even look at him without disgust. But the moment he opens his mouth, you realize something. There's something off. Because this man, this alleged monster doesn't sound like a killer. He's soft-spoken, gentle, kind of childlike. He's afraid of the dark. And, oh dear Lord, if you haven't seen this, and I'm not going to ruin anything, if you know what I'm on about when I say he's afraid of the dark, you know what I mean. Oh, he weeps not out of fear for his own fate, but for others, and then something happens. Something that shatters every expectation, every assumption, every prejudice. John Coffey heals somebody. See, here I go again. I'm always crying on the goddamn podcast, aren't I? What's wrong with me? With nothing but the touch of his hands, he draws illness out of dying people and takes it on himself as if it was a burden he was born to carry. I mean... And then Paul Edgecombe, the man who's meant to walk this murder to his death, watches in stunned silence as this miracle unfolds before his very eyes, and suddenly questions, what did John Coffey do? What didn't he do? Now, when we get to this stage in the movie completely shifts into gear, lads. The movie's no longer about life in prison. It's about one question. Can a man with the power to heal others truly be guilty of such an unspeakable crime? And it's a very good question. It makes you think. It really does. Paul begins to doubt the evidence against Coffey. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. The man doesn't act like a killer. And then the truth comes. And that's all I'm going to say. And here's where the film grips you by the throat, man, and refuses to let go. Will I say it? Will I say it, lads? Will I say it? I don't know if I should. It's heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching. It's heartache all over. The system, it's unstoppable. The wheels of justice don't care about the truth. The machine is already in motion. And Tom Hanks, Paul Edgecombe, he's left with the most unimaginable scenario that I think that would put a lot of men into their graves. Now, guys, I'm really trying not to give away the movie here, okay? I think I'm doing an okay job here. But I will say this. You know, there's one part where John Coffey tells Paul Edgecombe that he's tired. Right? He's exhausted. That's all I'll say. And I tell you, lads, seeing the pain in Tom Hanks's eyes, if that doesn't take you down, oh, man, I don't know. You know, and, oh, I gotta give myself you don't just watch The Green Mile, lads. You feel it. You carry with you. It stays with you long after the credits roll. It's about a film about injustice. Justice too. It's about a failure of a system, about how sometimes the people who suffer the most are the ones who deserve it the least. And again, that's not necessarily giving anything away here. But it's about goodness, about kindness in the face of cruelty. And it's about John Coffey, a man with the power to heal, who technically doesn't belong in the world, but he's got every goddamn right to be in this world. A lot more than a lot of other people, that's for sure. And it makes you question. It makes you question. Because, you know, some movies, they entertain you. Some movies move you. And then some movies can come out with one line and you will be crying like a little baby just born. It's insane, lads. I couldn't recommend The Green Mile enough. It kind of changes you. It'll always stay with you, I think. Even to this day in 2025. It's long, but I honestly don't think that anybody watching this movie is going to feel that, oh God, what time is it? I honestly don't think people will. And it's in the top 250 on IMDb of all time. Personally, I'd put it up into top 10. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you have to watch The Green Mile. Peter. Wow.